Hey there, I'm Jake, and today I am covering the hit Netflix documentary crime scene, Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. Before we get started, I just wanted to say today I had a pretty rough day just with my depression, my mental health, anxiety. I want to say that you're not alone if you're dealing with that. Yeah, the day was just pretty rough for me, and I don't want anybody else out there to feel like they're alone dealing with this, because feeling like this and then feeling like you're alone, that's just another level of feeling lost. So today I wanted to record. I wanted to get content made, and it almost felt like I should make content too, because the series that I'm covering deals pretty heavily with mental health. It's about a young girl who is suffering with pretty bad bipolar disorder and depression. She went missing and was found dead. And it's just the worst that could happen when you're dealing with stuff like this. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. You can turn to family, friends, anybody, just calling somebody, reach out. It's not too much to do that. If it is for somebody, then don't turn to that person. They're not worth your time anyways. Find somebody who will help you. Turn into medicine or therapy. Do that. It's okay to do that. I've certainly had to do that myself. And if you ever feel like you're about to do something, call the number, because the world definitely needs you in it. Let's get to the show. So this was a case that I was pretty familiar with before the series came out. I saw it on all those BuzzFeed news articles, the ones with like the scariest videos, scariest news articles, scariest disappearances, this, that, the other thing. This is kind of like the top of the list for a lot of different things, because there's so many different odd things about this case. I am going to say right quickly, the documentary itself has a lot of good content that I do suggest you watch if you're interested at all in this story, because it can give you a lot of closure in the story. The documentary itself isn't exactly the best made one, so keep that in mind. Elisa Lam, she is from Canada, and she suffering from a very bad strain of bipolar disorder and depression. She always wanted to explore. She was very creative, always posting online. She wanted to go and explore the world, She talked her parents into letting her go out and start this big journey, this adventure. She was so excited about this. She found this little hotel. It wasn't even called the Cecil. It was like the Stay at Home or something like that. She found it. It was cheap. It was in LA. So she took it and she went down to LA. She didn't realize that it's in the middle of Skid Row, the worst part of LA. That the Cecil Motel itself is just known as being haunted, known as a hiding spot, a hideout for serial killers. The Night Stalker that I reviewed, the review right there, he stayed there before. He would do his murders, and then they say he would strip naked in the alleyway, throw his bloody clothes in the dumpster, and then just go up to his hotel room in his boxers or naked even. And nobody would bat an eye, because that's the Cecil. The Cecil is just that bad. It's known as being kind of like a homeless hotel. They have to have very low rates. It's almost like a government-run thing, so that the homeless can, pay for a couple nights in there. Then they're back out on the street. They go back in. It's known for prostitution, drugs, murder, so much, even suicide going on there. People jumping out the windows. It's just possibly the worst hotel to ever be made. It's the basis for American Horror Story Hotel, and it was getting advertised out to foreigners as a cheap alternative, kind of like a Holiday Inn, a quick, cheaper, like show up, be in the middle of LA and you can have the full experience. It's also one of the last known locations of the Black Dahlia, the lady who was cut into like 3 pieces. One of the most famous murders ever. So that is definitely one of the most notorious hotels ever. And this poor girl went there not knowing any of it. The day she was supposed to go and leave for her next location, which was, I believe, Santa Cruz, she goes missing. She stops messaging her family. They call the police and they start looking for her. That's the last they see of her alive. They do find a very now internet famous video of her acting strangely in the elevator, and that has led to a lot of speculation that she might have been possessed. There might be some sort of supernatural thing going on, or that she might have been messing with some sort of drugs, which it was in the middle of Skid Row, which led even the police to be looking into that and them to do a drug test on her body once they found her. And they did find her after hotel residents started complaining about the water being dark, having an odd taste, and just the water pressure itself being low. So they sent up the hotel repairman, and he went up, checked the water tank, and found Elisa Lam's body floating naked, face up, in the water tank. Documentary goes over all this, and then also starts going into the theories of what happened to her, the media circus that kind of happened, all that sort of thing, and what it kind of means for us as a society, why this picked up so big, how we can stop this from happening again. It's a pretty dark case to look at. It's very sad. She had her whole life ahead of her. She's gone, and I believe that's part of why we're all so interested in this case. That and the video itself being so odd. Her interacting with something that isn't there. Her hitting the buttons. Her acting so frightened. And us not knowing, is somebody bothering her? Who did this? Did somebody do this? What's going on? It's, the mystery of the century. Almost, maybe. I don't know. That's kind of a big claim. It's pretty big deal, though. So I definitely recommend you check this out if you're interested in finding out a little bit more of the facts on this story. But this is kind of where the making of the documentary might, So the documentary itself is pretty slow. I knew all these basic facts, and the photos, all the slow panning around the hotel, and they keep doing these shots in her bedroom, and her bedroom's super blurry. And she's sitting at her desktop typing, and they got this really sad sounding woman talking. She's saying all these poetic things, and it's her post, which okay, that's cool, and do that some when it's appropriate, but they do it multiple times every episode, and it becomes overkill, and it's kind of inappropriate. Almost. It dehumanizes her. She wasn't a philosopher. I'd like to see her happy. See her as a human. See her with friends and family. But you never... I believe they show one photo of her with some friends at her graduation. One photo with her parents. And that's all you get to see of her being happy. And then the rest of it is just her dead, and her grieving her life and her mental state. I don't believe that was all she was, and it's disheartening to see that in the documentary. I would have liked to have seen her as a human being. I would have liked to have seen more of that. That really slowed the pace of the documentary for me. The interviews themselves were kind of bland. The ones in the Night Stalker one, which I reviewed right here, those people they were interviewing were kind of characters. Both of the detectives were pretty cool characters. Even the media people had more charisma than the ones that are in this. This was just kind of a slow thing. To be honest, I fell asleep twice while watching this, and I almost never fall asleep while watching TV. I woke up one time, said, oh, I missed something, and I had to cut it off. It was just that slow. The hotel manager, she's so boring, and they interview her over and over and over again, and she just keeps saying the same thing. The hotel's bad. They tried their best. Oh well, is basically all she says. It's a lot of repeating itself over. One of the good things it does is it talks about some new information that I'd had no idea about. And that would be like the death metal YouTuber, Morbid, being a resident at the hotel and people claiming that he was the one to kill Elisa Lam. That was completely new information to me. I had never even heard that. And I was very interested in finding out about that. And there was also new information about the autopsies, police reports, all that. That was all interesting. So to be honest, I actually come to the conclusion about what I believe happened to her. I'm not going to say it because I believe that could spoil the ending to the documentary. So definitely watch it. I believe it could give you a conclusion about what happened to her. If she was murdered, was it a suicide? Was it drugs? Was it paranormal? Just watch it and find out, Give me a like, subscribe, and comment. And, yeah, definitely, I don't even know what to say. This was a tough one to record. Today I've cried, I've suffered mentally, and I'm just glad I was able to get in front of the camera and be able to do this much. Thank you if you watch this. Please like and subscribe and comment, and share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, everything you got. And I'll see you around. Bye.